Hello and welcome to the Joe Ligato Show. I'm your host, Dr. Joe Ligato, and today we're going to be reading an article from Huawei Central, and this is on how China is maintaining its sovereignty, gaining independence from the colonialism that has really tried to control it for over a century now. And so we see here that the various Chinese companies are trying to cut ties with Android. They want to have their own domestically produced operating system, and the operating system is called HarmonyOS. Next is ready to release, and it is the native Harmony operating system that is central to the apps ecosystem. And so we see here Huawei recently made a big announcement on the progress made by HarmonyOS Next, which is coming soon with a native HarmonyOS app ecosystem. The announcement came after HarmonyOS 4 completed over 40 million or 60 million installations on devices. The software achieved such numbers within 2 months of launch. Okay, so we're seeing that this operating system is doing extremely well. Harmony said that the operating system is ready to release, and HarmonyOS native applications will be launched in full force with this new software. Yu Chengdong, the CEO of Huawei Consumer Business Group, said during the recent flagship product launch conference that a new chapter of mobile applications is about to begin. He also emphasized that the company has trained millions of HarmonyOS talents. Okay, so this is extremely important, where if you create a new operating system, you have to make sure that people know how to use and know how to create apps for it. So doing this helps them out in the long term to create the sustainability necessary to compete with places like Android, with corporations with apps with operating systems like Android. The tech maker also laid plans to invest billions of dollars to support the developer community. Okay, obviously important for sustainability. Build a developer friendly environment and get new partners. Okay. The company has aimed to launch apps in over 18 categories to conclude. Yu Chengdong also said that these native HarmonyOS applications will be smoother, smarter, and safer for future generations of HarmonyOS. So we're seeing that there is a complete decoupling between the technologies of the West and the technologies of China because of the fact that China understands that these technologies can be used against them. And other countries will know ways to circumvent the Western intelligence community apparatus, the spying that the Western community does, by using technologies from China instead and from places like Russia or Iran instead. Okay, so more on the HarmonyOS Next app, or HarmonyOS Next operating system. At the Huawei Developer Conference 2023, Huawei announced HarmonyOS Next, and I should mention that this is coming out really a decade before people expected it to come out, and also China has just created the mass production of 7 nanometer wafer chip technology, and so China is really innovating at a rate that the West just can't compete with. They have no answer to, and the sanctions against China are just not working. So let's continue. It is a pure version of the HarmonyOS operating system without Android libraries. Okay, so that's extremely important if you want to decouple, if you want sovereignty in your technological space. Once developed, the current version of the HarmonyOS will be replaced by the pure HarmonyOS Next experience. Why does HarmonyOS have Android libraries? Since its release, I'm assuming the answer is going to be that, they had to until they had some alternative. Since its release in 2019, HarmonyOS featured open source Android project libraries to support its app ecosystem. Okay, so if you have to use other technologies, it does make sense to use open source things as much as possible. It means that Android apps could also work on the HarmonyOS. Okay, so that's important too. So there's cross-platform intermingling. And so people don't really lose access to things. They can just pivot away from things that are at least partially controlled by the West. The company took this step due to the initially weak native HarmonyOS app ecosystem. It makes complete sense, really. If you want people to transfer over, that's what you should do. See, I say this all the time, but China really has a good sense for how to win, how to outcompete other companies and other governments. Since its launch in 2020 for smartphones, Huawei aggressively promoted HarmonyOS in China, and most of the Chinese developer community has become aware of this operating system. Huawei also made the HarmonyOS code open source. Again, I think that's extremely important because then other people can tinker around with it, point out flaws, point out ways to improve things. which expanded the HarmonyOS beyond the domain of Huawei itself, allowing HarmonyOS to reach many industry players, which are now supporting its ecosystem development. Another important reason to have open source is because then you get more people involved, more organizations involved, and you can show people that you're benevolent, and it allows people to opt into this new technology without feeling like they're helping to support a proprietary company. Instead, they're supporting an ecosystem that is open and available to everyone. And so that really gives them a competitive edge, I think. Over the past 4 years, Huawei has developed a strong... Oh, and I should mention here, actually. If you want control, or if your goal is to remove control of something from another without really caring if you get direct control of it yourself, things like open source can be extremely important in that regard. Because then you're saying like, okay, this is for everyone. This is open source versus having the proprietary technology. And so that is really something that I think China is leaned into, which is making sure that they win in the instances where they're supposed to win, and they make sure America loses in the instances where they really don't care if they win directly or not. And that's what the open source is used for here. Anyways, back to the article. Over the past 4 years, Huawei has developed a strong HarmonyOS ecosystem with top developers and an open source community. Now cutting ties with Android support won't be a big challenge for HarmonyOS next to deliver a full native HarmonyOS app experience. Okay, so the release date, official developer beta activity in early 2024. So man, I talk about this all the time, but so many things are going to be occurring next year. I think the Ukraine war is going to be over next year, given the increasingly difficult situation when it comes to getting funding for Ukraine to stay afloat. I think the Israeli situation is going to come to a head pretty soon, and it's going to probably continue into 2024. I mean, I think we can strongly guess that it will continue into 2024. Russia is going to be at the head of BRICS at that point in 2024. The United States presidential election is occurring in 2024, and we're seeing more and more that China is gaining sovereignty at a far more rapid rate than people expected. People thought these types of technologies would take a decade or more to come about, and they're going to be here for beta testing next year. So just next year is such an important year. Like it's scary, all the changes that are occurring in the world. And I think there are some reasons to be concerned about things like a world war. But at the same time, I'm just like, wow, what a year to be a geopolitics commentator. Like this is geopolitical analyst type of person. This is an amazing time for content. It's like just things are happening so quickly. Anyways, this will be followed by closed and public beta test ahead of the full release in public. However, Huawei has not announced any upgrade plans at the moment. Okay, so that's where we're at in terms of technology. China is innovating far more rapidly than the West would like. Sanctions aren't working, and so America has shown whenever their economic coercion does not work, they resort to military action. And so that's where I think we're going with all of this. So if you enjoyed my commentary on this article from Huawei Central and my various analysis on the ongoings of the world, please give us a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm on YouTube and Rumble. Please subscribe to our channels on YouTube and Rumble for more content. And please leave us a comment in the comment box with any of your questions, concerns, critiques. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye.